Matt's on vacation.
He is on vacation. We miss him.
Matt's glamping.
He's glamping?
Pretty sure he's just camping, but yeah, pretty sure he's just camping. I'm still coughing, so bear with me. I made a bowl of Fruit Loops.
Obviously, that's really good for the throat.
Really is. I needed food, and I wasn't gonna DoorDash because there's only 2 of us, and I would have to leave. And I wasn't gonna make something because I want to start recording soon. So I made something, but quick.
Not that I've never been known to like go on a rant or two here or there that you could have set me up for pretty easily.
Oh, for sure.
Man, it's like a retro episode. It's like a throwback episode. It's not Darlington week.
It's not Darlington week, but it's Darlington week in our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a good time though.
Mm-hmm.
Talladega gave us plenty to talk about.
Oh yeah, plenty to talk about at Talladega. Mm-hmm. Folks, this is Fake Racers Podcast. For
some reason,
I'm Joe. He's Davey. I don't know why we're still doing this, but we are.
Because it's fun, and we get to talk about racing. And when things go up our ass, that's not a bad word.
Yep.
We can talk about it here instead of complaining to our friends.
Yeah.
Which we're still complaining to our friends.
I was going to say, I did that last Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
I think you were in there. That was a brilliant conversation to the folks that were in there. There were a lot of brilliant ideas being brought forth.
I don't know how much of that sarcasm or not. I don't remember.
A little bit of it's sarcasm. Not all of it, though. Not all of it. But
it's pretty good.
You gotta keep them on their toes. And now, like, anyone that was in that chat is gonna be like, "Oh, he's talking about me." Yeah. I don't want anyone to think I like him too much.
Hey, tell you what though, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
All it took was a couple drivers getting concussed for the drivers to suddenly not crash them up at Talladega.
I mean, bam, you just said exactly what I thought you were going to say. Not bam like the back end of a next gen into the outside wall, but...
bam as in, here's the dice.
I kind of figured that was something you were going to bring up, and I get what you're saying, because we talked about this a couple times. Go back to literally every Daytona, Talladega, New Atlanta episode where we talk about drivers complaining about wrecks and also being the cause of said wrecks.
Mm-hmm.
But I say this, and you have to tread lightly, right? Because kind of sound like a jerk, especially when we're getting into the whole driver safety, well-being of life area that concussions and stuff get into. But you're not necessarily wrong. This race on Sunday where Chase Elliott won will be.
That's about how excited he was.
Yippee skippy. I don't know. It's a very tough thing to tread on. I'm speaking in a lot of vague terms, I know, but
basically, I've said over and over again. I'm gonna keep coughing all episode. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I've said over and over again. Every time we go to these tracks, or not even these tracks, anytime we've had big accidents, it's always NASCAR's got to do something about this. NASCAR's got to do something about that. NASCAR this, NASCAR that. And I never hear fans talk about what the drivers are doing behind the wheel, the lack of respect that is clearly shown in so many of these races often. And obviously this wasn't on purpose. Obviously you don't want a driver to get hurt. You don't want it to take a driver to get hurt. But if we're being realistic, if we're going to be realistic about it, it did take a fear of getting hurt for us to finally get the Talladega race that we kind of deserved, where drivers didn't make dumb, irrational moves. They still raced hard, and we didn't wreck them up. I read a fact somewhere. This is the first time in NASCAR history, in like almost 1,400 races, that we have ended.
That was the Xfinity race.
Oh, well.
Same thing. The Cup race though was
I mean,
still
the Cup race was
relatively
basically
clean.
the same damn thing. Yeah.
There was one big wreck in the Cup race.
Yeah. Okay. My apologies on the wrong stat. Regardless, extraordinarily clean for Fall Talladega, which is historically a very wreck-heavy race.
Yeah.
Very messy. And going back to the realistic viewpoint here, we didn't get revolutions in safety until we killed a couple drivers. I hate that it took that. It should not have taken that. We should have been proactive, and I think we should still continue to be proactive. That's why the next gen being what it is a disappointment. But if we're looking at the racing as just the racing, and if we're looking at it in terms of here's how our super speedway races have gone, here's how this one went. It's it's only going to take excuse me. It's only going to take one instance like this to like steer the way drivers think about racing these races, and I hope this has. It's unfortunate again that it happened. I'm not saying I'm glad it happened, but I hope it has at least a lasting effect on how the drivers race on the super speedways.
You also didn't have some of the guys that are normally a little more aggressive up there, right? Lacking the Brad Keselowskis. Joey Logano wasn't really up towards the front late in that race. Those guys that seem to always be the root cause of some of those issues coming to the end of these races, whether it be for their own reasons or not. Which isn't, I mean, it's not to knock them because this is a type of racing where you have to be really aggressive. It's just sometimes you can be aggressive in a more calculated way, in a smarter way. Or sometimes, a lot of times, I think the idea is to default to, well, he had to make that block, he had to do X, he had to do Y. You don't have to do anything behind the wheel of the race car. And that's a really crappy out, but it's still true. You don't have to put your fellow competitor in a position to either lift or run you over. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, I think I've gone on that rant about 6 too many times on this show, so I'll hold it for now. But yeah.
But the argument will persist. Hey, we're putting these guys out there. Yeah, he did it. He hit the mute button that time. I'm so proud of him. He's learning. He's dying over there.
I try to pull away.
I know.
Asshole.
I know. Nonetheless, though, yeah, one big wreck. Like Harrison Burton got taken. He looked a little shook in his interview. I don't know if that's just that. I forget what it's called. Whatever. Not a placebo effect, but it kind of is.
I don't know. I don't know what you're getting at.
But like you think something even though it's not, but you think it because you think it was going to happen. Type of. I forget what it's like. A sugar pill when you give like someone a sugar pill in a drug test, and they think they took the drug, and so all of a sudden they're healthy again. I want to talk about that last restart. That last caution was weird. Car parked at the end. It was Daniel Hemrick parked at the end of pit lane, and also there was a fire in turn 3. From something probably falling off a car. But so that brings out a caution. Eric Jones is the leader. And man, I don't know why he took the outside. That was peculiar.
Yeah.
I just want to give Eric some credit for pushing Chase to the win, though. Good job. Good Chevy teammate, Eric Jones.
Good shoves. I think even Chase commented on it at the end. It was like, he was giving me great shoves. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, wow, crazy. The guy that's ran up front at most of the super speedway races this year was really good at pushing. Wow. Funny how that works out.
Yeah.
I thought it was an impressive run for a couple drivers. Eric obviously one of them, but I don't think we've come to expect much less from the 43 team after this year, especially on the super speedways where you know that's one of their shots. Michael McDowell's kind of the same way, right? We kind of expect him to be up there, and that it's not as shocking. Todd Gilliland was the one that comes to mind.
Ran very well.
I think ended up finishing top 5.
I think he did, yeah. Or
at least top 10. He finished top 10. That's a good run for him.
He was definitely up there, yeah.
Another guy, Justin Haley was up there, but that's not surprising because we all know Justin Haley's the best super speedway racer on planet Earth.
In the sport.
Ever.
Sure. No, don't get too crazy. In the sport, yes, absolutely the best.
But at the end of the day, Chase Elliott wins, so who really cares? Chase Elliott fans too. Ryan Blaney gets a good points day. I think he has to finish like top 10. He has to score like 30 something points.
Right.
Or 20, so I don't know. It's like 28 maybe. He has to score
Doable
points.
for the 12 team.
Exactly. You go out, get some stage points this week, don't finish dead last, you're fine. We'll kind of talk about that when we talk about the Roval a little bit more, but really it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. Yeah. I don't know, that was Cup. You got anything else to add to Cup?
Not a lot happened. That's it.
Which is okay.
That's okay.
After the last 2 weeks, I'm A-okay with it. Good job. Good job, next gen car. Whether it was
Good job, drivers.
Yeah. Saturday, late Saturday, Xfinity race, second race on Saturday down there. AJ Allmendinger wins his first super speedway race.
Love that for him.
He, as always, is very pumped. Make sure if AJ's ever leading, you listen to his radio. They always do a good job of putting it on TV because he just screams. And it's great. He just shows so much emotion. You love to see it.
That's all I'd be if I won a race, man. Every time.
I wanted to tie this in, though, because report from Jordan Bianchi at The Athletic earlier today that AJ will be driving the 16 in the Cup Series full-time next year.
That is a big deal.
Which is kind of something I think a lot of people said, well, why wasn't he doing it that this year? Money. But
funny how that works.
I mean, I look at it like, hey, Noah's obviously not going to take his. I think he had the most races in that car. I think he had 18.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe 16, 14. I don't know. I think he had the most. Daniel Hemrick took all the super speedways and Darlington, maybe? I don't know. Daniel Hemrick took some races, and then AJ obviously took the road courses.
Yeah.
Good for AJ. Good for colleague, I think.
Yep.
You can
honestly, I wouldn't say the next best thing, but definitely not too shabby. Coming off of a lot of the Kyle Busch going there rumors. AJ Allmendinger is a proven driver,
and I think when you're trying to
Cup, won an Xfinity.
When you're trying to sell sponsorship too, it's a lot easier to sell sponsorship with a full-time driver in the car.
Mm-hmm.
When you're trying to be that big team, they're trying to be a big team. They're trying to be, Matt Colleague hasn't made it. Chris Rice haven't made it. Like, oh no, we're not trying to. They're trying to be RCR Hendrick eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've kind of done that in Xfinity. So now, okay, let's try to move up the Cup and do it. And AJ's obviously been a great catalyst for that team.
Yeah. He's got it, man. He's got to be a sponsor's dream.
AJ Allmendinger? Well,
as far as being there for an event, like be the dude,
look at JTG. With that, obviously they had all those different companies, and I think a lot of that was business to business type deals. But getting Kroger on board, I feel like was a lot of AJ Allmendinger's probably a good representative. Not that you saw a lot of stuff with him. It's not like you see a lot of stuff with Ricky Stenhouse.
Well, it's also like when you have your
events at the track, yeah.
And Kroger, like John Kroger is there, having AJ Allmendinger show up and greet him, be like, "Hey, I'm the driver," it's a good look. What you doing, Joe?
John Kroger's a funny name. John Kroger is the one that comes up. He is a American lawyer, Oregon,
and he founded Kroger grocery stores.
No.
Oh.
Sam Mayer's never going to win a race
because
he was in prime position and he just lost it.
Yep. Yeah, I see that.
But yet another tame, really exciting, but tame finish to that race. So that was pretty. Good job, Xfinity. All the cars finished, as you said earlier.
Yep, that stat was for that. Yep.
I think that's the first time ever, right? Is that what you're saying? In the NASCAR National Series, all the cars finished a race?
Yes.
Like 14,000, 1,400 race. I don't know what it was.
It was like 1,409 some or 60 something. Or
the super speedway races then?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. So.
Damn it! I tried to mute, but I missed.
That's pretty wild. That
There's
one
a key
hurt my
binding.
throat.
Yeah, no, they've all been about that bad. I've just
Yeah.
been really good at turning away. I just didn't turn away as much as I thought I muted, and
It's okay.
there's a little key binding. There's a little
It's okay.
behind the scenes.
I'm too lazy to
behind
go
the
back and
behind the curtain
fix them.
for the viewers.
Too
Joe,
lazy.
behind the curtain, there's a Control Shift M is mute. Except for when it doesn't work. Oh, it's probably because I'm not selected in that tab. I was in the show sheet. There you
go. Truck series.
Just behind the scenes,
Truck series.
I'll have to start a Patreon for that.
Yeah, we should. Comment down below.
No one's gonna get
Comment down below. Do you want JTN Plus?
0 comments. Someone's gonna view this like 3 years later and like we'll listen to it for some reason. They're gonna be like, "Damn, it's been 3 years and no one left a damn comment." And we're gonna be like, "Yeah."
Sounds about right.
Go listen to episode 4000 of the Fake Racers podcast.
God, I hope not.
Hopefully by then we have our own with the JTN like TV channel, the JTN app on Roku.
Yep.
And it's our little
You can totally do that. Like there are dumb apps on Roku. It's great.
Dude. And we could like have like, just JTN races on all the time, but then like the little mid race reels or like the post and pre-race reels are just like Fake Racers tidbits, FRT. No more podcasts, it's just the tidbits. I'm telling you, there's a market here. Start a Roku channel.
Yeah, that's probably pretty cheap to do. Matt DiBenedetto won at Talladega. I don't know if you want to read this sentence off that's in the show sheet, but I just
oh my god, I just read it for the first time.
I don't want to read it off, but I definitely typed it earlier.
We'll leave that one in the drafts.
Pretty funny though.
Matt DiBenedetto is breaking ground.
Yes, he is.
In NASCAR.
In his own words, and no one else's.
You can do a little Googling for that one, I bet.
No, but I saw a lot of people. I don't know. I'm happy, right? He won. Good for him. At the end of the day, he's a guy that definitely went out kicking and screaming.
Yep.
For no good reason, it feels like.
Almost got kicked out of his ride in the final race of the season because he wanted to pull off a couple of stunts.
Yeah, It was a weird finish, too.
It was.
Brett Holmes crossed the line first, but NASCAR decided to throw the caution, which is a whole can of worms I don't know if you want to get into, because the really easy trump card to play is safety. So throw the yellow so you can get emergency workers out there as fast as possible.
To that I say, throw the yellow as soon as they cross the line.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not...
Excuse me. I was just about to say something. No, this happens all the time, but just, you can throw the yellow, but you can wait until they cross the line. Like, that 300 feet isn't going to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I think they should.
It's something that if someone gets hurt and they don't throw the yellow right away, they'll get a lot of crap for. So I think the idea is I'd rather get crap for throwing it than not throwing it. Which I know is hard to believe for a lot of people out there that think NASCAR purposely designed the next-gen car to hurt drivers, because I've seen a lot of that.
I haven't been able to go on Reddit. I haven't. The amount of just inane comments that I read on Reddit about the next-gen car, I can't handle it. I can't.
So, we're going to talk about that but I don't disagree with what you're saying from a fan, competition, sport perspective. It's really easy to play this safety trump card, which makes a lot of sense, right? There's a bunch of wrecking in the truck race, which isn't surprising at all, but want to just prayers up to Jordan Anderson, because that was scary to see someone climbing from their race car as it's still moving and going towards a wall. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah,
Caught
I
that
did.
pretty quick when I watched that.
I did. I was kind of shocked, actually, is it's not uncommon to see a driver window net down, start climbing out when the car's still moving, but he was going at a pretty decent clip, and he smacked the
And
wall.
he's going towards the wall.
Yeah. Probably had no idea where he was going because of the smoke.
Yeah.
Just scary. Just super, super scary. I'm really glad he's mostly okay. I know he's got burns and stuff, but could have been a lot worse.
I wonder what was wrong with his fire suit.
What do you mean?
I don't. He got burned and he's wearing a fire suit. I know, I know there's. Fire can get where fire wants to go. I know, but
it's not that fire can get those fire they're not fire retardant forever.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It burns away.
That's what I'm saying.
It burns away that, and so if it burned it away and then it continued to burn, which it was,
no,
that's where you would end up burned.
Yeah. I just want more coating on there.
I don't know if that's how that works. But
make better materials, people. Come on, keep the driver safe.
I feel like they're at the very edge of the very cutting edge of tech with that.
Well, what about the door foam, Davey? What about the door foam?
Okay, this is insane. Moving on.
Hey, speaking of safety, look at that next topic. Next gen safety. You alluded to it earlier when you were talking about the race being very tame. Made national news this week. Now, granted, it was a Sunday morning Good Morning America hit piece. Do with that as you may. That very much proved why the media doesn't get involved in NASCAR when, you're not showing actual images of a driver that you're talking about and saying it is that driver. But I'm going to start there because, hey, that's good. Put some pressure on him. Alex Bowman, of course, though, was ruled out this week with a concussion that kind of caused a little more of an uproar.
Yeah.
Sounds like someone I saw earlier today, and again, I don't remember from who, and so take this with grain of salt, but sounds like some media officials told drivers that they need to go about their complaining on the proper channels. To that I say, what have they probably been doing for the last year and a half?
Yep. I think there's a lot of people who don't understand that we don't see every line of communication. A driver can sit here and say, "Oh, there's been no communication." I think that's kind of a load of bull crap. I think there has been communication. I just maybe don't think it's with them or it's the communication that they wanted. My mic stand failed.
Cutting edge engineering here on the Fake Racers podcast. I'm like,
I was using a tissue
box.
Well, because the other one is literally broken. We're just gonna leave this sitting down then. Where was I? Oh yeah, drivers are lying.
Yeah, they're lying. The hits aren't that hard. The forces aren't any different.
Okay, yeah. Now you sound like a NASCAR executive. Oh, the hits. It's just because we're hitting at angles and speeds that we've never hit at before.
Look, the numbers are the same. That means everything's the same.
Please go get a rudimentary education in anything physics related,
or just don't talk about stuff you don't know about.
That too. This goes for the people who are on the other side of the fence too.
Oh yeah, naturally.
Yeah, and Denny Hamlin made some comments. You alluded to them in the show sheet, but he said he wants the car completely redesigned.
That ain't happening.
Which I think is asinine.
That's just so Denny Hamlin has gotten, and excuse the terms because it's not a very good term at this time to use, but he has been very nuclear as of late with his comments, right? Car needs to be completely redesigned. Kevin Harvick's doing the same thing. Nobody's listening. Very, very bold statements. And I think that's where people have problems, right? Because you've gone from, okay, we're not saying anything, and then you just completely vertical incline.
Hmm.
It hasn't been a thing publicly that's been on the way up. Again, it goes back to the point of we don't know what's being said behind closed doors, because really that conversation could be like this, but all we're seeing is this down here, and then all of a sudden, okay, here we are. Here we are. Comments like that frustrate the crap out of me.
Me too. I'm glad we agree with that.
They're very alarmist. And I think there's a lot of intention there to be alarmist for good reasons.
If you look at it for more than just the surface, like the surface reading and viewing of what he's saying, it seems very political. Like it seems like it's like the message is more important than what you're reading. Like he's trying to incite something with his comments. If that's what you were getting at, I don't know if you were getting at that or not.
Yeah, exactly. They're not realistic. It's not real to expect, they can just call it next gen, but just redo it. I would like to point out Daniel Suarez had some comments about it too, talking about his Charlotte wrecks that he was in, saying those were pretty hard. That's the first driver that I can recall that wouldn't be at a technical advantage if a lot of this work went back to the teams talking about it. Which I think is another thing to consider, because who has been talking about these cars not being good and needing to be redesigned?
Drivers from really big teams.
Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott are the prominent ones.
Yep.
Kyle Larson said something along the same line, saying he's safer in a sprint car than a cup car, which is very... Again, that's another one of those, I think... That one kind of went under the radar,
yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah,
but that's another one of those, hey, I'm going to say something really, really dramatic. He even admitted that it was very, very dramatic. But what frustrates me is that I can't tell. And I don't think I will be able to tell. And I don't think anyone on the outside looking in will be able to tell. If these comments are coming from these drivers because they have better teams and they have better support around them, so they know these things a little bit more, because they're briefed on these things a little bit more, or if it is going back to that, hey, we'd have an advantage if. Because if Hendrick Motorsports can move a bar 3 degrees, 3 mils, they're going to figure out a way that, okay, well, I'm going to move it a 4 mil, and it's going to look fine. No one's going to be able to tell, and it's going to actually give me an advantage, right? Because that's what engineering departments do with race teams. They find the advantage. So that's what frustrates me, that it's coming from a lot of these drivers that do have these big teams, these big budgets, these big... Classically, they do.
Yeah.
So that's why I was thought it was important that Suarez said something this weekend, but also Ross Chastain said Denny Hamlin doesn't speak for the entire garage area, so I always thought that was also pretty... I don't know if that goes back to them not liking each other, which it probably does, but...
Probably a little bit. I also think a lot of that also could come from someone like, I think Ross Chastain and Justin Marks are really close, and I think they probably share a lot of the same views and sentiments because of how much that like Justin Marks is down for both of his drivers, absolutely 110%. And I feel like that goes back towards Justin Marks. Justin Marks has been critical, but more understanding of the position that NASCAR's in, which I agree with. And this is another thing that I've been very annoyed reading Reddit. It's like, oh yeah, of course Justin Marks is gonna suck NASCAR's ass, like blah blah blah, this that, the other thing. He's got Project 91. He wants to attract these drivers, and they're not going to want to come if the car isn't safe. So of course he's going to say everything's fine. He didn't say everything's fine. He literally said there should be some adjustments made to the car to the point where they call it Next Gen 2.0 and they go racing again next year with these changes. I feel like that's a really level-headed response. And, echoes something what Ross Chastain said, where Denny Hamlin saying that we need just get rid of the next gen. We need a new car. And I think, again, I on the surface, that's a ridiculous thing to say. I think it's more charged underneath than, just what is being said. But I mean, I don't know, man. It is interesting.
Frustrating.
I hadn't dissected. Like I obviously I've made comments about Chase Elliott saying, "Oh, blah blah blah. The car could be this, and the racing would be better because it would be this." And it's like
All the
you're just
drivers
saying
complaining
that.
about not being able to pass, as we're seeing a lot of passing, is also the thing that makes me angry.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's what I said the last podcast where you instead of being able to pass
Because your
Michael
car's a lot
McDowell
better.
because your car's better, you now have to pass him because your car is like a tiny bit better, and you have to use your skill. So if you're not very good at passing people when all the cards are on the table and everyone's duking it out a little more equally, you might get a little frustrated when you realize that you're having a tougher time than usual.
Yeah, this
Chase.
isn't a situation Joey Logano blocking Kevin Harvick for 50 laps.
No.
Like, thanks NBC for setting that alarm off for no reason whatsoever.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I hadn't. That's an interesting point you brought up because I hadn't dissected who had been saying what in terms of the safety being a reason to do XYZ with the car when
There's
per
levels to
team.
everything, and everyone has a reason. Denny Hamlin's a team owner, but I think Denny Hamlin's a race car driver first. I know there's a lot of people that like to talk about, oh, he's got a conflict of interest, he owns the team. He's a race car driver first. I think he's proven that. If he could bump Bubba Wallace or Kurt Busch out of the way to win a race, I'm pretty sure he would do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very frustrating. It's just very frustrating. It's a lot of, I'm going to sound the alarm, and I don't know if I'm sounding the alarm because I'm actually scared, which I think there are a lot of drivers worried about getting hurt, rightfully so. Again, Alex Bowman out with concussion last week. They're hopeful he's back this week. I would probably say no. Might not be back for the rest of the year. We don't know. So it's a whole can of worms, and you have to be very careful with why people are saying what they say. Like Justin Haley went on DBC and said, "No, I'd still drive the car because hey, Justin Haley's in the position where he's very, very knowingly, hey, if I jump out of this car, they're just going to put someone else in it."
Yep.
These older drivers, if they jump out of these cars, they're just going to put someone else in it. That's what Joe Gibbs is freaking doing that without, they're shuffling their guy out of the fold because he's too expensive. If these drivers that have all this clout just go away, I don't think team owners aren't going to bat an eye. So it's just gotta be careful. Gotta be careful about. You have to look at your source bias. If I was taught one thing in high school, it's that you got to look at your source bias and figure that out first.
Okay, that's some nerd stuff. Let's move on to the fun stuff like the Roval.
Roval weekend, Xfinity. I gotta find my mouse. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Xfinity is at the Roval this weekend. Oh boy, that's a cut race. Couple big stories. Marco Andretti making his NASCAR debut with Big Machine Racing in the 48. What are
pretty cool.
Top 20? You think? Is that the expectation? Top 20?
He was pretty decent in SRX. I know that's ovals, but I think in that car, as good as that car is, top 20 is the goal.
Yeah. Daniel Hemrick, defending series champion. Riley Herbst, Brandon Jones, and Jeremy Clements are the 4 drivers under the cut line. Hemrick is 6 back. Go ahead. I'm just explaining things. Hemrick is 6 back. Riley Herbst, I think, is 14 or so. Just barely in the teens back. Brandon Jones probably needs to win, and so does Jeremy Clements. With that being said, Ryan Sieg is currently the last car in to the round of 8.
That's insane.
Good for them.
That's really cool.
Who you got? Who you got winning the race this weekend?
I got to do it for my boys, my main man, Andy Lally.
Yeah. Should I just be lame?
Yeah, Ty Gibbs. Okay.
AJ Allmendinger.
That's also lame.
That's what I said. Last road course of the season for the Cup Series. I don't know why I didn't say that for Xfinity, but it's also their last road course. Interesting note, though, this is the one track that we probably have more laps at with. We're going to for the first time with the next gen car. So much testing on the oval, so much testing on the oval too. So the oval probably has more laps, but more time on this road course that they're going to run this weekend. Briscoe and Cindric currently tied for the last spot. And then pre-appeals hearing, Byron is out. Christopher Bell is out. And Alex Bowman is definitely in a must-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got?
I don't know why I feel like this, but I'm going to go Christopher Bell.
Oh, dang, that's who I was going to pick.
Damn!
He's been so good these playoffs. Had some pretty bad luck in Texas, right? And by luck, I mean, hey, bump up that right rear pressure a little bit.
Yep.
If I had to pick someone else, I think Byron could win. I don't know, though. I don't want to pick Byron, though.
I wouldn't either.
Be AJ Allmendinger. Sweep the weekend.
Damn it.
AJ Allmendinger.
Try to mute it. Sweep the weekend.
Sweep the weekend. 20 winners. Give them to me. Some other guys that could win. I mean, like...
Honorary shout-outs, by the way, to Connor Daly making his first Cup start.
I forgot to put that in
Very
there.
cool. Mike Rockenfeller, he's already made a Cup start, but I think it's cool.
In the 78?
77.
Okay.
Also, the rumor coming out of Petit is that Mike Rockenfeller is going to be in that Garage 56 entry for the NASCAR Cup car at Le Mans with Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. That's the rumor coming out of Petit.
Hey, because heaven forbid NASCAR give themselves an off weekend for Le Mans.
Don't get me started, Joe. Don't get me started.
Is Le Mans Father's Day weekend next year? I'm pretty sure that is the off weekend.
It's June. Fuck.
I'm not bleeping that out. I just heard "fuh." You know, that's all I heard.
So, yeah, that's what I said. Le Mans 2023. Where the hell is the? Have they not released the date for it yet?
Probably.
Oh, June 10th through 11th.
Oh, so it's the weekend before the NASCAR off weekend. Huh, funny how that works.
Oh my god.
Unless that is the NASCAR off week. What's the last? Oh no, Sonoma's
It's the weekend after.
Weekend before.
The off weekend is
the weekend after.
Off weekend is the weekend after. Yeah, that is so stupid.
Well, the idea there is they put the off weekend in between, I think, Fox and NBC.
I still don't like it.
No, I don't either.
Oh well. Anyway, that's the rumor coming out of Petit Le Mans.
Yeah.
Sports car endurance.
We talked Jimmy Johnson last week, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thought so.
I was throwing up when you guys talked about it, but yeah.
Okay. Actually, I have something to show you after the show. Is that it? I think that's it.
I think we've done a show throwback style, Joe.
Yeah, it was a quick one too. I love it.
We finally did it. Threw it back. Talked about it. Anything else you want to talk about, Joe? Any racing stuff? Big drama at the end of Petit. Did you see some of that?
I didn't.
It's fine.
Yeah, if you want to talk about it, you can.
No, it's there was the 10 team was looking like they had it wrapped up, and they had some drama. I think with less than like an hour or a half hour to go, and had to retire the car. And then the 60 team went on to win the race in the championship. We were like big drama. Like,
dang,
it was a good little race.
That sucks.
Yeah, a little bit. Little bit.
I'm trying to think. Do I have anything to add?
Let's see. Let's go to J-Ski. Let's see what's on the front page. Anything fun?
Buy your diecast from circlebdiecast.com and use code JTN at checkout for
Yeah.
$5 off shipping because Lionel is jacking up prices on the wholesalers and everybody.
Beard Motorsports expects to return to 2023 for the Daytona 500. Pretty cool.
I wonder who they're going to have in the car.
I would love if it were Parker Kligerman, but
It'll probably be Justin Allgaier.
stop it. That's boring.
Isn't that crazy? That's who they picked.
It's not crazy, but it sucks that that's who they picked. I
Like
would have liked someone cooler.
Parker Kligerman. I mean, if they were a Ford team,
Yeah.
they could have got Ryan Preece.
Yeah, that too. Ryan Preece had a good finish in the Truck Series. Parker Kligerman had a good weekend.
Yeah,
Pulling double duty.
Ryan Preece was also having a sponsor running a sale based off the Hurricane. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, he's not the sponsor, so. Everyone still likes Corey
Yeah.
LaJoy.
What did Corey LaJoy do?
Ran the Trump car for like half of 2020.
It's not his fault, though.
Brother, what was I just saying about Ryan Preece?
Listen, his name wasn't on the diecast, so that tells me he didn't want to be associated with it, whatever you think of that at home.
I agree with you, but I'm saying the same thing about... Never mind. Doesn't
Now, you're
matter.
only saying that because that's the driver you like. Anyways, folks, can't thank you enough for watching this week.
I like Corey LaJoy!
Can't thank you folks enough for watching this week. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Hope you're going to have a great rest of your week. Hope you'll join us next week. A lot of hope ending off this show.
There is a lot of hope. You know what? To go along with that, make sure you live your life to the fullest because you get to be alive on this earth.
Yep.
And if you've made it this far, I want you to hear this, and I want you I don't want you to just hear it. I want you to listen. You've made it this far, not just with this podcast in life, and every single day, like today's Monday, and blah, it's Monday now. Like, yeah, blah, it's Monday, but also it's another day alive that you get to spend here. Make the most of it. You're doing great. And I just wanted to tell you that. I think you're doing a good job.
Plus, we never know when the Earth's just going to stop spinning and fall out of space, so...
You have to talk to Tommy about that cosmic shift.
Folks, our links are down below. Can't thank you enough, as always, for watching, listening, however you do. Make sure you leave us a review on your podcast platforms. We'd appreciate it if you did. Don't ask you to do that a lot, so if you could, that'd be great. Yeah, like us on YouTube, subscribe, do all those things. We appreciate you so much, and that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Fake Racers podcast. We'll see you guys next time right here on JTN.
This is what a tissue box sounds like. Like that.
Bye, guys.